and I'm trying to see how this works on doing Facebook Live, and we're going to see if we can do this a few times in the weeks to come with all that's going on in our area and the world, I guess, is what I would say. Well, first thing I want to say is hi, and it's good to be home after 10 days down in Mississippi in Greenville working on houses with the Mission to Mississippi, or Trinity Missions as we now call it. Coming home, just a surreal feeling to everything with all the social isolation and everything that's going on. Let me begin by saying a few things about the work in Mississippi itself. We worked on one house of a resident down there, and then we also worked on the bunk house, the house that's right next to Revels Church, where we stay each year, and we're trying to get that house fixed up as a place for other groups to come and work on projects in the Greenville area, where there is just an extraordinary number of places that are in such bad shape and really need work and help. Well, we finished the house that we worked on, Patricia's house, and if you want to go to the Mission to Mississippi Facebook page, you'll see pictures there of some of the work that went on and the house blessing that took place Saturday morning as that was finished up. I'm not sure of all the work that took place at that location, as I was working most of the time next to Revels at the bunkhouse, but I do know that they put a new roof on. They cleared out a lot of stuff, and actually there were family members there a couple of times that I came, taking out the old front steps and getting some other work done and helping to sort out and get rid of a lot of stuff, throw away garbage into the dumpster that we have there at the time. Work that was done included the roof, the floor, the kitchen. We put in a new stove, other things. I'm not sure what all was done, but it was a lot that was accomplished, and she was certainly happy. Patricia was certainly happy as we left there and when I saw her at the house blessing. At the bunkhouse next to Revels Church, where we do hope to have other groups stay, we were able to get a new roof put on, a tin roof. We framed up rooms. I should say Paul Hulls does most of it. I'm just a gopher there helping with whatever it needs to be done, but framed up rooms, bedrooms, bathrooms, showers, the kitchen. A bay window was put in on the north side of the house where the living room area will be. There was siding put on the north side, in the front and the back. Plumbing was all put in. Bruce Mathiasen did a lot of work on that and got all the vents put in. We were doing that the last minute stuff on Saturday. And there's cabinets in the house that Roger Bunkers made this year that are sitting in the middle waiting to be put in. It's ready for electrical work to be done, and hopefully by next year we'll get it finished with sheetrocking and other things. So a lot accomplished, a lot that we can feel good about and what's happening in that community, and enjoying what the progress that's being made and the effect that it has on the lives of people. We were able to see some who've been whose houses have been worked at in the past, and a couple of good gatherings with folks and the folks from Revels and some of the people from the houses we've worked on in the past as well. The trip home, there were 9 of us that left on Sunday morning. We had a little worship service by ourselves at 8:30. We had planned to stay at Revels because the bishop was supposed to be there for their Sunday morning worship and a big meal and celebration stuff afterwards. But Saturday night, about 6 o'clock, the bishop had called that he wasn't coming. There was talk about more of those restrictions. With all that was going on, we decided to do our own worship at 8:30 in the morning and get things loaded and get on the road. We made it to Carthage, Missouri, where we stayed overnight before the final part of our trip home. But on Monday, a couple of things that just struck home some of what was going on. We were on the freeway going through Kansas City, and there was a Toyota Prius next to us at one point, and we were all pointing at it because this lady was in this car, and the whole back of the car, back seat and whatever the back area just looked like jam full of paper, toilet paper. And what's that all about? Well, we had stopped in Pineville, Missouri, which is just north of the Arkansas border, just north of Bentonville, the home of Walmart. And we had stopped there for gas, and I think all of us, we stopped, went in to use restrooms and stuff, walked to the back of the store to look at the toilet paper area, and sure enough, the whole racking shelving there was just completely bare and no paper products at all. So a little taste of what's going on. Sunday night in Carthage, the 9 of us went out to eat at a Mexican restaurant after we'd gotten into a hotel there. As we're sitting at the table, somebody on their phone noticed that there was a new thing about bars and restaurants closing, and one of them said, yeah, they're not supposed to be seating more than 6 at a table, and there we were with 9, so it was the last big fling before isolation begins. But glad that we had that opportunity as our group and to be able to do that. It really set in the sense that for those 10 days, those of us in Mississippi were living in a bubble, working from 8 in the morning till 8 at night. We didn't watch any television. We didn't have radios on, and we saw some headlines on our phones once in a while. Laughed at some of the stuff, couldn't quite comprehend all that was going on. Coming home has been entering into this new reality after those 10 days of isolation from the world and normal everyday life. Well, since coming home, we arrived home about 5:30 on Monday evening, and I talked to our council people, both churches, to let them know I was home, and we've had more discussion yesterday about how to respond to some of the governor's comments and limits on groups. And the decision has been made for both Old Westbrook and Highwater that there will be no more services, at least through March. I think Highwater Council said that we should just make it until further notice, so we don't even have to think about calling and letting people know on a weekly basis or at another point until we can finally make the call and say, hey, we're back on and things are going and we're good. I sure hope that this doesn't go too far into April, but we'll have to see what happens. In the meantime, this effort to try and work on Facebook Live, and I'm just astounded at the number of people who went to our Old Westbrook Facebook page here. Last I looked, it's over 1,400 views of Tara Elness's message from Sunday, and that's a whole lot more people who would have heard it if she'd just done it at Old Westbrook and Highwater, and this way she only had to do it once. Tonight, we were supposed to have Janice White from AMO come and do a message. Her topic was to be the parable of the lost sheep. Again, that has been canceled with everything else for the rest of the month. But my hope is that at about 7 o'clock tonight, maybe a little earlier, that I can post another Facebook Live thing, and I'm going to try and put together a message on what was to be my parable that I would be doing a week from now. But I've had time, I've been thinking about it since we organized this Lenten series back in February, before we started the Lenten season, and mine is on the parable of the ungrateful servant, the one who was forgiven 10,000 talents but then couldn't forgive the debt of 100 denarii. And so 7 o'clock tonight, plan to have that live event here on our Facebook page. I also hope to do the same thing then on Sunday, and this coming Sunday, the gospel lesson is from John chapter 9. It's the parable, the whole of chapter 9. It's the parable of the man born blind, and we'll put together a message for that and have that, and I'll keep working on those. With the services canceled, we also expect that the Partners in Ministry Bible studies on Sunday night, or Saturday mornings, the Saturday morning Bible studies will be canceled. We were supposed to host that this Saturday at Old Westbrook. And then also the Romans Bible studies, Friday mornings and Sunday nights, that we will cancel as well. I want to make it clear I'm available. Not supposed to be going anywhere. I'm around here. If anybody wants to talk, give a ring, phone number and other things. So I'm available. And we're going to keep working on learning how to make use of all of this technology and to maintain contact and try and keep some sense of sanity in terms of our own lives in the midst of everything else that's happening in the world around us. So hope you're able to join us and join in this. We'll see if there's a way to do some interactive stuff too. It looks like there's a button for interactive under the no, I touched my face. You're not supposed to do that, are you? But you got to learn and figure that out. But anyway, available, and we'll see how this one works out, and I'll look to try and do another one and see if I need to make some adjustments for tonight. But thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.
Okay, you want to post it then, right? Is there a place to post?